Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, June the 15th, and we've had 8 additional deaths since my last briefing on Monday. We have 7 reconciliation deaths that I need to report as well. It puts us up to 7,016 folks that we've lost in West Virginia. We all know it's a tragedy. It's been tough stuff. The 7,002nd death is a 91-year-old female from Fayette County. The 7,003rd death, an 82-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 7,004th death, an 83-year-old male from Fayette County. The 7,005th death, a 93-year-old male from Harrison County. The 7,006th death, a 74-year-old male from Fayette County. The 7,007th death, a 48-year-old male from Mercer County. The 7,008th death, an 88-year-old female from Ohio County. The 7,009th death, an 85-year-old female from Wyoming County. The 7,010th death, a 60-year-old male from Cabell County. The 7,011th death, a 93-year-old female from Ohio County. The 7,012th death, an 87-year-old female from Ohio County. The 7,013th death, a 70-year-old female from Randolph County. The 7,014th death, a 73-year-old female from Putnam County. The 7,015th death is a 100-year-old male from Berkeley County. God bless him, and thank you for all your wisdom, sir. The 7,016th death, a 57-year-old female from Jefferson County. 7,016 deaths in West Virginia. Active cases in West Virginia right now are 1,855. We have 556 new cases in the last 24 hours. Daily positivity rate at 6.94. Cumulative rate at 8.14. The recovered cases are a little over 515,000. There's 203 hospitalized in West Virginia, 25 in the ICU units and 4 on ventilators. All the map is green and yellow. And I guess that's okay. It'd be better if it'd be all green, but we know we got to live with this. We got to deal with it. I just want to let everyone know, the vaccine for the 5 and under, we're very, very close to getting, the approvals and recommendations on that. And when we get that, we're ready to go. And I think General Hoyer and Dr. Amjad are on, and they'll be maybe giving you more detail about that in just a little bit. I encourage everybody about the boosters. I've told you 1,000 times, if you're 50 and older especially, you've got to get your booster shot. That's all there is to it. It's silly to not do that. Please get your booster shots. All the stuff, as far as the numbers and everything, continue to eke up. I'd love for them to move faster and everything, but just like General Hoyer said, I think, probably now it's been 3 or 4 weeks ago, but, we went through a 30-day period. We got, I may mispronounce this or misuse this and everything, but I think he said 6,900 new people that had not been vaccinated at all. We got across the finish line, and that's really significant because there's no question that there's lives being saved there, and that's what this is all about. I go back to the vaccine calculator. Dr. Marsh, WVU, General Hoyer, a lot of folks put a lot of licks to make that available to you. If you'll go online, go through the process, we'll be able to notify you and tell you when your booster shots are due. All the information as far as free testing and anything about COVID is all up on our website. We have 78 outbreaks now in our long-term care facilities, none in the church community, 156 inmate cases, and 34 staff cases. I remind you over and over about the rental assistance program and the homeowner assistance program. There's dollars out there, for renters, for landlords, for homeowners. If you'll just call us and see if we can get you qualified, especially if you're having a tough time, we may very well be able to help. I remind you about giving blood, especially if you've gone through this and you've survived this dreaded pandemic and everything. Check with your physician. and see if they agree and everything. If they give you their blessing and everything, please consider giving blood. You know, from the standpoint of the pandemic EBT, the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources has received approval from the United States Department of Agriculture to issue pandemic electronic benefit transfer benefits to eligible non-students or children under the age of 6 years old who receive Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits. If a child is eligible, they will be mailed a benefit letter. There is not an application for this benefit. Qualified children will receive $22.44 in PEBT for each month they qualify. And Secretary Crouch will tell us more about that in just a second, but that's just a continuing renewal, and but it's good news, good news. I've appointed another delegate, and that is Jared Cannon. And Jared is from Hurricane and everything. He's going to be replacing the vacancy by the resignation of Joe Jeffries. His district covers Boone, Lincoln, Logan, and Putnam counties. And Jared's an exciting young man. He's doing a lot of great stuff, a WVU graduate, a lifetime resident of West Virginia and everything. He serves on the board of the Ohio-West Virginia Youth Leadership Association. He's a young man on his way. He's got his act together. We congratulate Jared, and I know he'll do a great job. Here's something that, you know, touches all of our hearts and everything in lots of ways, but if we could just talk a second about the severe storms that we just had come through. You know, wind gusts 70 miles an hour that ripped through Ohio and Ohio County and the northern panhandle. A lot of trees are down. We've had 2 wheeling firefighters that were treated for you know, being shocked, you know, with a power issue related to the storm. A 3rd firefighter was injured from a fall due to a treacherous situation or condition. Here's something that is tragic beyond belief. The body of a 20-year-old woman was found Tuesday evening after she was swept away by a flash flood after being on a bridge in the Wileyville area. You know, this is tough stuff. I mean, this really is tough stuff. We live in these mountains, and their beauty is beyond belief. You know, when we get a sudden burst of rainfall, it can cause all kinds of problems. You know, we just got to beware. We got to be on our toes. We got to absolutely run to the fire when we have issues, and we've got people all over the place, you know, from our National Guard, you know, along with the Department of Emergency Management and on and on and on, that are running to the fire, and they're trying to do anything and everything they can possibly do to be able to help these folks. And so there's so many different things that you can do, but if you have an issue, contact your county emergency manager, and we'll go from there. But rest assured that you know, that anything like this that happens, we're on it, and we're going to come running to the situation. We're going to put all the resources that we have and you know, into trying to take care of these folks. You know, I keep going back to the 2016 flood, and I was right in the middle of it, and believe me, you know, these kind of situations are really tough. I also caution everybody about this heat advisory that's out, especially the western side of the state. But you know, heat exhaustion can be really tough, and we got to really, really be careful and everything. It's something that you know, we all don't think, you know, is possible. It's not going to happen to me, you know, and everything. But you got to really watch, because you know, it can get really tough, and it can get tough really fast and everything. It can cause a lot of problems. So be careful with that, and really just watch what you're doing, and try to stay indoors, you know, where there's some air conditioning or whatever like that. Especially look after our elderly. You know, we've had some power outages all across the state with these severe storms, and we got to really watch. We got to really pull the rope together right now and help one another. And if you've got somebody, you know, especially some, you know, an elderly person, maybe their power's off or whatever like that, you've either got to, well, we really need to be notified. That's all there is to it, so where we can make sure that those people are helped. Juneteenth, June 19th is a day which we celebrate as the official ending of slavery in the United States. In recognition of this, I've declared Friday, June the 17th, as a state holiday for all state offices will be closed on that day. The Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs is holding a Juneteenth celebration for the first time in 3 years because of all we've gone through with all the COVID stuff. And it's being held in person for the first time, like I said, in 3 years, at the Capitol. And the free event, it's free. We'll return to the Canal Boulevard side of the west. We'll be on the west side of the Capitol complex on Saturday, June the 18th. There'll be 3 headline bands, a comedian, lots of neat West Virginia talent. I really encourage you to come out and everything. It'll be a wonderful day, a good day, so please come. On June the 20th, which is this coming Monday, we'll celebrate our state's birthday. At noon, we'll be in the State Cultural Center. Here at the Capitol complex in Charleston, we'll hold a celebration there. We have all kinds of fun that's planned there. The First Lady and myself will award the prize-winning cake. The First Lady, had a contest, for the best cake in West Virginia, and it'll be the West Virginia's cake. We'll do it every year, and it's gotten a lot of interest and everything. And we're going through the tasting right now, and we'll select that cake and everything. That'll really be neat stuff. And there'll be a Golden Horseshoe reunion. All former recipients of the Golden Horseshoe are invited to attend, and it'll just be a neat day. They're going to give me an honorary Golden Horseshoe, and we'll knight all the recipients of the Golden Horseshoe, and they're going to knight me at that time, with an honorary Golden Horseshoe. It'll be really neat. In addition to that, there's going to be the first ever History Bowl Legends Tournament. So this is going to be for people that are a little older, in fact, maybe a lot older and everything, that really love West Virginia and everything. Going to have just a little competition there. All being said, a great day and everything, and just another way to celebrate the birthday of this incredible state. Hatfield and McCoy trails for all residents in West Virginia will be free from June the 17th to June the 20th. So all you got to do is, apply, and you'll get your passes. They're available to state residents and everything. And if you present a valid West Virginia driver's license, you got that free pass and everything. I remind everybody to be really careful on the trails. There'll be officers on those trails and everything, and so be safe, use your head and everything, and just watch what you're doing. That's all I got right now. Nevertheless, thank you.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now go to retired Major General Jim Hoyer, the director of our Joint Interagency Task Force.
Good afternoon. Just to highlight a couple of updates, our transmission rate, or the RT value, has actually fortunately dropped back below 1, which is a good sign. We've had a decrease in the number of hospitalizations in the last 24 hours. We're now below 200, minimal number of people in ICU with COVID. As the governor pointed out, we continue to have a slow but steady uptake in the number of first doses, as well as first and second booster doses for those over the age of 50. So we are continuing to make progress there. As it relates to vaccines for young people 5 and under, we have been continually preparing for that to occur. Pre-ordering has taken place for the 5 and under age group. We anticipate approximately 17,400 doses arriving in our state between June 20th and June 29th. About 8,600 of those will be Moderna, 8,800 Pfizer. Of those, about half of those have been ordered by our pharmacies. The other half are for physicians' office, including pediatricians, as well as local health departments, community health centers, and hospitals. It's important for parents and guardians to understand that pharmacies can offer vaccines for children ages 3 and older. For under age 3, parents, guardians, caregivers need to reach out to pediatricians and local health departments. We also have been working during this time to continue to engage in outreach with medical organizations such as the American Academy of Pediatricians, the State Medical Association, Academy of Family Physicians, as well as the Primary Care Association, which coordinates our various health clinics across the state to both encourage and coordinate the ordering and administration of vaccines. We also are continuing to support with our team in the GIADF, which includes the epidemiology folks, Dr. Amjad's other teams within Bureau of Public Health, our team at WVU with pediatric group, as well as the various other organizations, Board of Pharmacy and others, a coordinated effort to make sure we provide training opportunities to include live webinars, training videos, and electronic print resources. This is much more complicated, as Dr. Amjad could tell you, than it was in the beginning, because we have multiple different vaccines, different age groups, different dosage rates. So a lot of work goes on behind the scenes related to this. Anybody who might have a question or needs contact with the appropriate folks to help with this, whether it's a provider or a parent or guardian or just an individual looking for the first dose, do not hesitate to reach out and contact our hotline, 1-833-734-0965. And the team from the hotline will link you up with the appropriate assets to help you get your questions resolved. As you can understand from all the things that I've just put out, this is the reason that the governor has continued our interagency task force. This is not over. It's a complicated process and a lot more work to be done. So that is why he's continued to press to make sure that we have this coordinated effort across the state of West Virginia to protect West Virginians. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll go to Dr. Ayn Amjad, our state health officer.
Thanks, Jordan. Good morning. General Hoyer and the governor mentioned about the vaccines for the 5-year-olds and younger. The only thing I do want to add to what General Hoyer mentioned is we get a lot of questions on the timing of it. So independent advisory committees are going to meet with the CDC and FDA later on this week. Once those meetings have occurred, similar to the previous vaccines that were rolled out, then we'll be able to push out more information of when children can get their vaccines. So hopefully next week. But it is a process that occurs. It occurred with the other ones as well. We are waiting to hear on Moderna and Pfizer for children 6 months to 5 years old. The Moderna vaccine will be a 2-dose vaccine series, about 4 weeks apart. Pfizer is recommended to be a 3-dose series. It'll be 3 weeks apart between dose 1 and 2, and then 2 months after dose 3. So we are just waiting for those meetings at the end of this week, but we are in preparation and have been preparing for several weeks now. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Next is Secretary Bill Crouch with the DHHR.
Good afternoon. As the governor mentioned, the Department of Agriculture has given the approval for DHHR to issue PEBT benefits to eligible non-students and children under the age of 6. Eligible non-students are those who receive SNAP benefits and reside in a county where one or more schools have been closed or operated at a reduced attendance due to COVID-19. Children in this population will only receive PEBT for those months in which they were active SNAP in an active SNAP household. If a child is eligible, they will be mailed a benefit letter to the family if there is not an application process for these benefits. Qualified children will receive $22.44 in PEBT for each month they qualify. PEBT benefits will be dispersed in two primary issuances. Benefits for August to December 2021 will be issued in July 2022, and January through May 2022 will be issued in September 2022. For additional information on this, please contact the PEBT hotline at 1-866-545-6502. That is 1-866-545-6502. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Secretary. Dr. Clay Marsh, our coronavirus czar, had a prior engagement today and will rejoin us next week. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, I have a school safety question. Yesterday, during the interim legislative meetings, Rob Cunningham of Department of Homeland Security spoke during the general session. He said at the end of May, you had tasked him with reviewing the current school safety plans and creating a best practices plan. Could you talk a little bit about the resources and the authority he's been given to do that, and just kind of your expectations for that plan, how it'll be applied? Thank you, sir.
Okay, Ryan, listen, I guess the bottom line to this whole thing is I've instructed, my chief of staff to work with Rob and to go through all the different details. There's been an ongoing, an updated program, I guess, that goes on all the time. But what we've got to do, the bottom line to the whole thing, what we've got to do is review and then do any and everything we can in our power to come up with just more ways that we can assure our kids, to be able to be in an atmosphere of safety and learning, whether, I guess the best thing that I, can tell you is, I'll continue to update you in the days ahead, but there's been a lot of work that's gone on, and like I said, my chief of staff works a whole bunch on their safety plans on the county level, and we're going to continue to provide those best practices, but that we need now, especially, not now. We've always needed to just continue to try to amp up our game to make sure that things are just as safe as we can possibly make them.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next to Kenny Bass with WCHS and Fox 11.
Thank you. Actually, I had a question for Dr. Marsh, but he's not here with us, so maybe Dr. Amjad can step in his stead. Dr. Marsh had mentioned that we're moving toward what is going to probably be annual or semi-annual, some type of scheduled vaccines for COVID-19, much like the flu vaccines that we have now that are annually. Have you heard anything about this, any movement in the medical community or from the CDC or from any branch of the government, which gives you an idea about a timetable when that decision might be made and or announced? Thank you.
Dr. Amjad, please.
Yes, Governor. Kenny, we have not heard anything solid about that timeline. I think Clay's comments, and I would agree with that is our best educated guess of the way things have been moving with the vaccines right now. But as far as getting clear direction from CDC or FDA or any of the drug making companies, there's nothing set in stone. But I think that's a good expectation that might happen, just knowing what we've seen over the last 2 years. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Kenny. Next to John Lynch with WTRF.
Governor, I know you touched on Ohio County and Wheeling regarding the storm damage, but my question is, with the storm damage that happened on Monday into Tuesday morning, we have homes that are going to be without power until probably the weekend. And with the heat advisory that you touched on as well, we have a lot of people going to cooling shelters. Ohio County actually issued their own state of emergency. Do you plan on issuing one as well for Ohio County so they can get funding and help that they need during this week?
I couldn't quite understand the last part of your question. Could you ask that one more time, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do you plan on issuing a state of emergency for Ohio County, just like they did yesterday for the county in Ohio County?
Well, let me just say this. Anything that's within my power, and I will promise you this to God above, anything that's within my power to be able to help those folks there, I'm going to do. And if it means recommending or issuing, whatever it may be, some kind of emergency management program or whatever like that to be able to help those counties and help those cities and everything, I'm going to do it. And so we're working it in every way that I know we can possibly work it. And I concur wholeheartedly with you that if it's in my power, I'm doing it. And I don't know how I can be more point blank than just that.
All right, thanks, John. Next to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good afternoon, Governor and cabinet members and fellow reporters. Governor, I asked the other day concerning the gas tax, whether we are starting to see an impact here. And I wondered specifically if you talked to Tourism Secretary Chelsea Ruby, and if we've had cancellations at state parks or bookings might be down, or what we're kind of seeing from now until, say, Labor Day in terms of the tourism in the state, and whether we might be affected by people that say it's just too expensive to fill up the gas tank. We're staying in Kentucky or we're staying in Tennessee and we're not going to the Hatfield-McCoy's Trail in West Virginia or any other state parks or anything like that. What kind of impact might we seeing? And if we haven't yet, does that still concern you given the fact that we're over $5 a gallon?
Well, Mark, let me say one thing, and I wasn't this blunt before, but this is just fact. From the standpoint of the gas tax holiday, I think I said just this. I don't think that that's the right answer. But when we were talking about gasoline being at $2.80 or $3.05 or something like that, it absolutely was not the right answer at that point in time. Then all of a sudden, now we're dealing with an entirely different animal, aren't we? Now we're dealing with $5 gas, and could be dealing with $6 gas. I still believe that the right answer is for us to keep trying to do everything we can to fix our roads and to absolutely fix slips and guardrails and pave and everything that makes so much more goodness come for the minuscule of dollars that a tax holiday would really bring us. But, my feelings are really just this simple. We tested the waters, did we not? The legislature said no way. That's the end of the issue. I mean, really and truly, I'm not about to call a special session and waste dollars, that our taxpayers pay all the time, waste dollars in a special session that there's no way. So from my standpoint, I do believe, that if we had done it, we've got the money to have done it. It probably could have helped some, it's not the solution at all, and at the end of the day, the legislature said, well, we're not doing it no matter what. Well, it's the end of the issue, period. Now, from the standpoint, Mark, of your question, the rest of your question, I think, about how it's affecting our state parks and everything, our state parks are doing great. Our bookings and our numbers are really good. And people are electing in a lot of ways to stay here and utilize the beauty and the wonderfulness of those state parks and everything instead of going off to a beach. And I've never really understood that in a lot of ways either. But nevertheless, people are making selections to stay here. People that are close to West Virginia are coming here, and people far away as well. But all that being said, with the upgrades that we made to the state parks and everything, we have not seen any significant impact so far.
All right, thank you, Mark. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, the only thing I really have is, I think General Hoyer said this earlier. In fact, I know he did. He said that, that I decided and have decided to keep our task force in place. And you're daggum right. And it's absolutely, there's no backing up in any way from my standpoint on that. Just think about what they've got, what we've got right there. General Hoyer, Dr. Marsh, Dr. Amjad, Bill Crouch, Secretary Crouch, and all the people that are right with them, and think of what an insurance policy they are. COVID's not going anywhere, guys. It's not going anywhere at all. And it's still there, and we got to learn to live with it. And we absolutely need that task force right there doing the great work that they do every day. So I thank them. I thank them 1,000 times over and over. You know, so with all that being said, that's all I've got. Just be safe. I really wish you'd get those booster shots. Thank you so much.